Ready? You gonna smile?
Yeah.
Alright. Hey guys, welcome back to It's Just Another Shilling. I am having a busy Saturday morning here. We got lots of things going on. Charlie right here, she's my little baking buddy. What are we gonna make today?
Cupcakes.
Cupcakes! Those are gonna be on a later vlog. You'll see them in a little bit. But right now I wanted to show you my enchiladas. I make enchiladas every couple of months. My kids really don't like them. My husband doesn't love the spiciness in them, but I think they're fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and whip up a batch for me and my best friend. So come on, let's go. I started here by cooking my chicken. I just put water into a pot, threw the chicken breasts into it, and got them cooked up to 165, 170 degrees. Some parts are at 200, but you want to make sure that thickest part is the part that is at temperature. Right before I knew my chicken was going to be done, I decided to get some of my tomatillos ready. If you guys have never worked with a tomatillo, they are green. They look like green tomatoes when you peel them. When you see them in the store, they're those weird papery lantern looking things in the vegetable department. They're really good. They have a soft, mild flavor. I really enjoy them. If you've ever had salsa verde, this is what they use. They take these, they wash them, and they make them fresh. They're incredibly easy to peel, as you can see. I even had my son doing one or two at the very end. And the only tip I would give you for these is once you have them all peeled, go ahead and give them a quick wash. They are a little bit on the sticky side. I don't know why that is, I just know that it is, and so I just give them a quick rinse, it cleans them right off, and then they're good to go. So next I'm going to get my jalapenos ready. I like spicy. People in my family don't like spicy. So what I'm going to do for a couple of them is I'm just going to cut that white part out. That is the spicy part. That's the part that most people really can't handle or tolerate. One thing I will tell you is I'm doing this without gloves on. Jalapenos aren't incredibly spicy. They're pretty mild when it comes to that kind of thing. So just don't touch your eyes or anything like that, or it's going to burn for a little bit. What I'm doing now is I am leaving them pretty much whole. I'm going to cut the pith out of this one more jalapeno, and then the rest are going to go in completely. And then they just go in like that. You don't need to cut them up any smaller or anything like that, because in a little bit we're going to throw them into the blender. So here you see me getting the chicken out. We're going to reuse that water, which is sort of turned into a little bit of a broth. I really hesitate to use that word. It's really just chicken flavored water at this point. There are no bones in there, so it can't be a broth. But we're going to reserve it. We're going to take the tomatillos actually and throw them in there. It's just going to add a new level of flavor in a little bit when we get ready to actually assemble the enchiladas and make that sauce a good sauce. So we're going to cook this on medium-high. We're going to get it boiling here for a second. Guys, I almost forgot the jalapenos, put them into the water. So we're going to go ahead and throw those in and then get ready to process our chicken. So I saw this method one time and I loved it. It's really easy to do. I don't know why I never thought of this before, but it's the only way that I actually will shred food. It's so much faster, it doesn't take a lot of time. That's right, I am using my hand mixer to process this chicken. All I'm doing is I'm very gently running along the pieces of chicken. I'm not really putting hard pressure in that because it could break your motor, but nice and gentle and just back and forth on each piece of chicken. You'll see I get a piece of tendon in there, and I'm just going to run that a little bit harder. And then, yeah, this guy's took literally 2 minutes, I think, to do this. If you're using a fork and a knife, it'd probably take about 5 to 10 minutes. I love this method and use it all the time. I hope this helps somebody because even when you're doing pork, it's a really good way to do it. You see that my mixer is not chewing the meat up, so I'm getting those nice, pretty large pieces. Now, I bet if I did mix this for a long, long time, it would start chewing the meat up and making it into smaller pieces, but it makes an absolute perfect shred every single time. I totally recommend it. You should try it. Yeah, definitely try it. So my tomatillos and jalapenos are all ready to go. You can see that they all have sort of lost their color. They're a little bit more yellow, a little less bright green. This is what you want when you want them cooked to go. We're going to go ahead and throw them all into the blender and get them turned from a solid into a sauce. This really, really, really goes very fast. It's really easy, and when you have all the ingredients, it actually goes better. So I don't know about you, but my kids love using the blender, and they knew I had it out, they knew I had it ready to go, and so they wanted to use it too. This takes a minute longer, but I let them do it. It just makes everyone a little bit happier, so why not? So now that the sauce is done, I'm going to pour it over the chicken and get it mixed up and ready to go into the tortillas. I know you see those little helpers in the background trying to grab at things and reach at things, but I promise you there's nothing there that they can get that's going to injure them. They're all perfectly safe, and I know what's going on. Confessions of a busy mama. This is like 4 days later. I didn't have the opportunity to get to the store and get the limes and the cheese. So I went ahead and put everything in the fridge, let it set. There's nothing wrong with that, and I'm going to go ahead and finish now. What you see me doing is rolling my limes. What this does is it releases the juices inside of the limes so that when I go to juice them, the juice is going to come out faster and easier. As you notice, my juicing utensil is sitting right there on the counter. Can you see it? Yep, that's right. It's that fork sitting right there. I'm going to juice all these limes with the fork. First, I'm going to get my bowl of tomatillo sauce. I'm going to stick the fork into the lime, and I'm going to squeeze it towards the fork and then run it back and forth, just like you see, actually. I'm going to turn the fork and the lime, and I'm just going to get all that juice out. Did you see how much juice actually came out of there in rolling it? Now, I really, really like lime juice, so I'm going to go ahead and put about 4 limes worth of juice into my tomatillo sauce. You can put as much or as little as you want. It's all by taste here. So we're going to put continue with this lime juice, and then maybe a little bit of salt and pepper, and this sauce is actually ready to go. So I got my chicken out of the fridge. I've taken my tortillas, put a stack of them in a towel, and threw them in the microwave for 2 minutes just to get them warmed up. These are corn tortillas, and they are not very, very flexible when they're cold. So you want to get them warm a little bit. And I know that one flipped open, but you'll see in a second. I'll just close it right back up, put one next to it, and they'll stay shut. I'm putting about 1/4 cup of chicken into these enchiladas and then throwing them into the pan. Remember, this chicken is a chicken that has the sauce in it already. We don't want a lot of sauce in there, just enough to give it a little bit of flavor. So I'm going to continue rolling all these tortillas. I actually have 2 pans worth, and then we'll go from there. Man, if only I could make cooking go this fast in real life. Alright, so both my pans are full now, so I'm going to go ahead and get the sauce on them. What you want to do is make sure that you get every single tortilla covered in sauce. So I'm just going to make sure that that's what's happening right now. When you don't have any liquid on the tortilla, as they're baking, they're going to crisp up. So if you like that crispy tortilla feeling, then please, by all means, go ahead and do that. I'm not a huge fan of that, so I try and make these as covered as I possibly can. So now that the sauce is on, I'm going to go ahead and get one more sauce on because, I mean, seriously, why not? This is a container of sour cream. It's probably about half full. I didn't want to pull another dish out to wash, so I figured I'd just mix it in here. I'm going to squeeze the juice of one lime into this. So you're looking at about a cup and a half of sour cream and one whole lime. And I'm going to get the juice in there. And then I'm going to give it a really, really good stir. And then I'm going to pour that over the top of the enchiladas. Now, most of you probably think that what I'm doing is pretty gross, but in all honesty, if you've ever eaten at a Mexican restaurant, this is how they make their sour cream. It's really good. It's not something I would put on a baked potato, but it's definitely something that's good on enchiladas. So we're just going to spoon that over top. The goal isn't really to cover it completely. The goal is just to get it on. You're looking for the flavor, not necessarily more than that. So let's get that done. Alright, I'm going to open up my queso fresco. It's also known as Chihuahua cheese in this area. We make a joke about Chihuahuas every time we eat it, but it's actually really good, fresh cheese. It breaks off beautifully, and you can crumble it into little pieces. It is delicious. I would sort of compare the flavor profile to a mozzarella, but the texture is definitely closer to a feta. Um, but saying that, it's totally different than both of them. It's really, really good. If you ever have tacos Mexican style, I completely recommend that you put this cheese on than any other cheese. It cooks beautifully. It's a really good cheese, and I'm sad that I don't eat it more than I actually do because I really, really like it. So I'm just going to go ahead and crumble that on top of my enchiladas, and then they are ready to go. So these are freezer meals. So I actually made one for me and one for my best friend. We both really, really like enchiladas. My husband cannot do spicy food, so he does not enjoy them at all. But whenever I make a dish, I always make one for me and one for her so that we can have enchiladas whenever we want. So I'm going to get these wrapped up with plastic wrap and then aluminum foil. They bake in the oven for about 45 minutes at 350 degrees. You're just looking for it to be bubbly. It's already cooked. You just want it to get bubbly and that cheese to turn golden brown. So I'm going to go ahead and get these wrapped up and then get them set to go into the freezer. And then I have one more little thing with the leftovers. I don't have another pan or enough tortillas to get another whole entire tray of enchiladas done, so I'm going to make enchilada casserole. This is really, really, really easy. What I did is I cut my tortillas in half so that they could fit against all the sides of the pan. And then I went ahead and put a layer of chicken in, and then a layer of sauce, another layer of tortillas, chicken sauce, onward and upwards. You're gonna see at the top, I ended up putting a ridiculous amount of chicken, but I didn't have any more tortillas, and so I figured, oh, I'll just throw them on top. You guys, this was so good. I ended up eating this for lunch every single day for a week. Why? Because my family doesn't like it, but I do, and I enjoyed it so much. Every time I brought it into work, they were like, you have enchiladas? You have enchiladas? Why aren't you sharing? But I don't, because every time I brought enchiladas into work, I will get one bite, and then everyone else eats everything else. So instead, I made them for me, and I enjoyed them, and they were good. To see that I ran out of the sour cream mixture, that's fine. You can put it on later. You can put it on after it's baked and everything like that, and it will still be really good. I did, however, put the remaining bit of my Chihuahua cheese on, and then I went ahead and wrapped this up and threw it in the fridge. I baked this the next day so that I could have something good to eat tomorrow. Alright, that's it for my enchiladas. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. They're really easy to make, and they're actually the traditional Latino way to make them. I learned how to do it when I worked as a pastry chef in a banquet hall. So yeah, it was fun, easy, and super delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you next time.